So, I decided to make a video about this game a long time ago. Well, too long, considering people talk about this community as a whole or just problems with this game but never talks about game crashes or anything. So, I decided to do it for myself just to come here to rant and vent out of frustration about this. What do we have here? Paladins is the most infamous first shooter online with a cesspool of game crashes, boring matchups, and all that shit with fractured battle royale online. Trust me, this game is utterly unplayable, no thanks to glitchy and bugs to the point people decided to uninstall it for a reason and got tired of it. This makes me so sad a little. Well, little is a keyword, but let's face it. I thought Paladins was really interesting and played it for fun and game experience, I guess. However, I think I fell out of love with Paladins and the game is nothing but tiresome with no brand new game mode or anything with something unique. And I find that game not fun anymore. Not one bit. The day game Crash is still hanging and got their deserter penalty that people made them stop playing that game for good. Even then, it's difficult to find this game enjoyable once in a while. So, which is why Paladins deserve to have on videos that someone should make a video about this awful game a long time ago, and I was eager to do so. Not to mention, this game looks like a King-to-Tail copy of Overwatch looking. Worry not, I won't say it's a rip-off of Overwatch bullshit just because of a similar move and playstyle that some characters are identical to each other, but that's really it. Nothing else I have to say about this. I don't think I have an introduction further, so let us talk about Paladins of how baffled, glitch and bugs, and bad inline game. For starters, this game has been around since 2016, making this game come out just about 6 years ago. Intriguing, huh? We all didn't know that game existed and never realized the date till now. And like I said, I used to play Paladins a lot, at least on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation, for a long time. I thought Paladins would be fun shooting games online and finding something new. And then, like I said, I fell out of love with where this game constantly keeps crashing every match and every second of it and a cesspool of glitches inconsistently. And unfortunately, this game is never fixed, because someone in the developer is fucking incompetent and lazy bum who never fixed the fucking games. Pretty much it's a wonder why I decided to make a video about Paladins to the point this game is unplayable with a shitload of glitches, bugs, and the game crashes alike. But I'll talk about it more later because of the gameplay, or that doesn't make any sense, and even the community needs to talk about it for a specific reason. And honestly, the gameplay is pretty fucking boring, considering you have a 3-game matchup for online and nothing really interesting or exciting about this game matchup. You have 3 game matchups you want to play, Siege, Outslot, and Team Deathmatch. And that's it. That's all you have to play all matchup with the same matches and same shit. Nothing really changed here. Now get this, I play 3 of them a lot, because it has only 3 matchups they have. Well, mostly Outslot and Team Deathmatch in case to keep playing Siege all over again by switching off the queue. But that's the thing, I was starting to get bored and painfully unfun. I know it's battle royale games talking about and people still play it today, but despite the option of turning off the queue to prevent to keep playing the same game mode over and over, each game mode felt like we had been stuck with this game forever and there is nothing or anything. Even it has a new mode with limited time to play and doesn't take last until a few days later or so. And not even custom mode, and I doubt anyone would go out there and play it with the same game mode and nothing really changed. And what I heard back then was that Paladins will add a new game match mode with something unique and new. It could be very interesting that they finally Paladins start to step up eventually, but only have another Siege version of Beyond and end up playing the same matchup all over again, even if there's a difference. I played it a few times and then it's ended up best on me and probably overwhelming. If anything, none of the matchmaking, except maybe Outslot or Team Deathmatch, is really enjoyable anymore, and wishes add a new game mode with something unique once in a while. While it has no story mode or anything, because this is what Battle Royale game is talking about, just for the origin story and lore about each character. Some characters make little to no sense that never explain why they turned evil, how to join origination fractions, how to people becoming enemy, and all that stuff. Let's say people give a good point of view on Koga, who has a history of sin, who is a deep hatred of him for what he did to him, that the latter believed Koga is a villain's situation despite one of the guild members framed him for any illegal crimes out of jealousy. Koga sets out revenge for Sin and fights him and his ex-member. The battle outcome is unknown. That's it. Because Koga is left hanging and doesn't bother to explain the whole story. Besides, it never knows how Sky shows up and conflicts with Koga when she comes to aid Sin, and it's just there. It leaves people and myself implying that Koga and Sky were close friends and adoptive siblings alike when Sin adopted him as part of a family, and then everything falls apart due to jealousy, and Sin believes in lies through Koga's illegal crime. Or Sin finds Sky more talented and treats Koga like shit from time to time and makes Koga hostile towards Sky. Or whatever that is. Here's the thing, the trailer starts off pretty well, at least stealth mode to get in the castle or whatever, and then something happens that appears out of nowhere, and it's never explained. Because Paladins have no idea how to make anyone interesting lore about the character and no idea how to build a character. It's just awkward and bogus as fuck, dude. Even some people theorize about how Koga and Sin's conflict with each other and Koga gets revenge on him for what he did. But I digress, because the whole thing is just gibberish and random typo, for that matter. Moreover, each character's lore is nothing but lazy one-liners, confusion, and unexciting the way they never explain anything about their power, motivation, and even conflict plotline. And I get it, this is fucking shooting games with online plays, but get this. Let's say when the trailers or origin characters come to light that could be really interesting, including Androxus, Atlas, Sin, Grudge, and pretty much every single character. But limited, it fills with plot holes, appears out of nowhere with no impact in the plotline, no story, nothing. It's just there, it wastes everyone's time to show them the spotlight with a ridiculous power-up with no impact in the plotline, and it's never explained. None of it matters. Well, except few trailers that I find mediocre character lore that makes kinda sense, I guess. But yeah, someone would better put up an explanation about the character and a better trailer whenever the new character comes to light with competent developers. In addition, you have to deal with annoying characters with no intention of nerfing any characters. Seriously, these characters are so unbalanced that people love to play a broken character who kills it almost immediately and can barely do anything about it because someone is standing in your fucking way during a matchup. A character like Victor, Koga, Sky, Ruckus, Mii, any sniper like Stritz and Kinessa, and even Octavia and one of them are colossal overkill with no kill with overpowered and broken character with any type of abilities and shit. And unfortunately, none of them appear to be nerfed or make anything balanced. Not once, not twice. A lot. Nothing. I mean, some people say each character got nerfed in the process but limited they let them play the same character with broken move overall and no intention to nerf any of them. And no buff any of them either. It's just that fucking sad. At least Nintendo knows what it is doing when it comes to patch notes on Super Smash Bros. Franchise, mainly Smash Ultimate, and they did a pretty good job making this game balance, despite it having some issues on there, and I don't find this game fun anymore. Regardless, this game makes even more de-stress than Paladins bullshit. And by the way, some characters shouldn't be fit for the type of champions like Ruckus, because the rocket boosts up a lot of damage and despite he supposedly tanks type, his abilities and weapon are straight up killing instant, so it should be placed with damage type instead. It makes no sense. And get this, I used to main Lex, Octavia, Corvus, and Ezen. And even some fun characters that I played a lot. It's been a fun game the way I used my main or some character to gain experience and playstyle for that one. Even some annoying characters that people played. That would be crazy that I pretended to see any character get nerfed or buffed character and make the game more interesting, one way or another. If only they needed to do something about an annoying character that makes my blood boil like hell. But alas, each character never got buffed or nerfed in progress in the flavor of adding skins and some shit. Because Hyra Studio doesn't know how to function, make any character buff or nerf and imply they are overprotective the way they make annoying characters more miserable and unbalanced that they desperately to keep this game going.
Smash 4 never had any patches. Smash 4 never had any patches. No one's ever been balanced. No nerfs. Smash 4's never had any patches. None.
Anyhow, let us talk about the community as a whole. The community is a fucking worst. The Paladins community is full of whiny man babies and woman babies who constantly shit in random people for their problems, mindless insult, and threaten them whenever game they play. Seriously, I swear people are full of competitive freaks who don't give a fuck about having fun or exercising. They just care about fucking winning and losing their shit every time they lose to them. Because winning is everything to them. I'm sure people used broken characters like Koga, Sky, Mii, Victor, Barrack, Ruckus, and one of them just desperately tried to win and still loses to them. So, people blamed others for their problems despite either playing recklessly and lame or just ordering around without even realizing what to do with them. It doesn't help when people play damage and flash or flank as a whole and never bother play tank or healer for the sake of balance, so that's why most people play healer and then everything falls apart and shit in healer for not healing them despite they're reckless. And never mind, they relied in damage and flank alike without realizing there's a balanced team, so it might win, but people won't listen and can dodge the punch. That's why a balanced team is important, but I digress. People would rather play damage or flank than tank or healer, and someone has to play one of them themselves. Furthermore, the game can't even let you leave the game in the middle of the match. Like, when you close an application and try to find a better match, it returns right back to the match and deals with players with the same character they played. You can't leave the match until the game is over. To be fair, I get why a studio company has to force players to stay in the same match, even after trying to leave the match. Because rage quitters ruin people's experiences, put their team in danger, and some shit. So they forced them to return to the same match they just left, which still counts as a win or a loss, for the matter. But that's the problem, because they have to deal with lagging, game crashes, and some shit and doubts they're the damn things they can do about it. Not just the way it is. And, of course, you have to deal with raging man-child and woman-child who have a microphone or just type chat to lash at you for their problem and shit. And speaking of which, it looks like I have finally talked about the game crashes and bugs and glitches that have been bothering me. Good lord. This has fucking axed me a lot. That game crash has come to clutches every time, and the game is utterly unplayable and locked out from joining any games. And not just that, there are also some glitches and bugs that make Paladins even more unplayable than usual. Okay, some glitches happen that can be funny in a weird way. I don't know what happened, but it's just there and it's kinda funny. But Paladins have a malfunction with a cesspool of glitching and bugs all day and night, and it is driving me nuts. I can see that people couldn't stand the loading screen, having been stuck forever before finding out the match was nearly over. Or otherwise, the match is over, no thanks to the game crashing and making you wait for a long time, much to people's chagrin. At least those who constantly game crashing, and it's never stopped. What I specifically remember, that there is used to have play of the game or simply top play with a combination of coke and just, before the developers were forced to remove it out of spite due to glitch problems, especially like T-posing, which is funny as hell for doing so. Even if they did, the game still has glitching out like crazy and it seems Paladins developers have no idea how to function of fixing the game, since this game keeps glitching out 24/7. And even the game crashes in the middle of the match. It makes no fucking sense. And get even worse, when you end up game crashes middle of the matches and taking the damn long to load the game, before you can do anything about it. Unless you're in the game that doesn't end up get a desert penalty, you can't play any matches until the time limit expire. It's no fucking sense that Paladins punishes the player who just selected characters before the game started and punishes you for it, although it's the game's fault for game crashing. So, thanks game, you blew it, and now you made everyone uninstall the game, you worthless piece of shit. Here's the thing, it's due to an unbalanced game with the same game mode, and broken characters with no intended nerf them, so developers would rather add a new character, skins, and hell, money than fix the games and don't do any of it. And unfortunately, Paladins has never fixed the game. At all. I am not kidding that Paladins has been stuck with the game crashing for a long time and sticking around. Seriously, I waited so long and had faith to fix the game, whenever patch notes came through and fixed the problem with game crashing and glitches and bugs, so that Paladins make a playable and fun game. But instead, they update the game with no fixing solution and rely on adding new characters, skins, and, of course, fucking money. They don't care about fixing the problem. They tried to make Paladins look good with no solution to this game, much to fucking infuriated for everyone and wanted to throw their lungs at lazy and incompetent developers who never fix the games. And that's the fucking problem. Whenever patch notes come to light, that shit contains misleading and still game crashing and bugs every day and night. And there is none of the damn you can do about it and dash especially when you pick a character and wait for someone to pick something and ended up game crashes and got you a desert penalty. Pretty much it's a wonder why people quit playing Paladins the way desert penalty for random shit is a final straw for them and they decided to uninstall this game. So, I can't really blame them, since the developer is an incompetent and lazy bum who only focuses in adding a new character, skins, and money, and that's it. It's plain sad, if you ask me. I get that people tried to defend it and say that the developers are still working on game problems and trying to fix that mess, but that is not gonna happen and won't matter. The developer is to greedy fucks who care about money, make the game more boring, and add new characters and skins is the long company expecting pay to win and have credit card information to buy a crystal or whatever. I already know both Evil Mojo and Hi-Res Studios are too lazy and incompetent to do anything about this game and double down constantly that they tried to make the game look fun with unbalanced renames, bugs and glitching, and all that shit with zero solution of this game. Whatever excuses they have, none of the stuff is good enough. So, I kindly ask you to stop making excuses for them, because the Hyra Studio and Evil Mojo developer doesn't care about fixing the problem and aims for a new character, skins, and money. That's all it is. I wish someone fixed the Paladins game with better developers rather than have incompetent and lazy fucks who care about money, rely on new characters and skins too much, and make it look good with glitches and bugs around here. Overall, I'm very comfortable saying that Paladins is the most miserable shooting game I played and painfully unfun. Paladins have zero balance, uninteresting, and utterly unplayable. It's such a shame that this game is a true downfall that I used to like and made me start to dislike it. Not anymore. What I have heard and seen online is that Paladins received a rating getting dropped that people decided to stop playing Paladins who either got tired of it or bored with this game, which I don't blame them. At least those who ended up game crashing every time they played. So, I would give a point of view in the category of the most incompetent and lazy company and developer clubs. Here is the list of an incompetent developer who doesn't care about fixing the game or anything but rely on money bullshit for the sake of good gameplay these days. Bethesda is one of them, CyberConnect 2, Epic Games, Valve, Electronic Arts, Rockstar Games, and Nintendo. And now, Hyra Studios and Evil Mojo have been invited to the worst company who never fixed the game or anything. So, welcome, you laziness piece of shit. Anyway, I'm over it and have fun with those who still play Paladins today and deal with the game crashing and some shit. Because I doubt I have a plan or think about going back to play this broken game with lag stuttering. Anyone who wants to find Battle Royale is more enjoyable. It's Apex Legends. That game is way better, unique, and fun, regardless of how you feel about Electronic Arts. Go play it here or any actual shooting games Battle Royale. You're better than this.